very impressive night out of Jamal Murray, Paul, but how impressed were you with the Nuggets last night?
I was very impressed because in the playoffs, your star's got a star. And that's what I've seen from the Nuggets in the last couple games. And, you know, we say these things about the Clippers, about Kawhi over the years, you know, being available. He's available now. But you understand, he came back at the second half of the season. So sometimes I don't expect him to be as consistent, but I do expect it from James Harden. And he has to be able to step up. But as far as the Nuggets, how impressed they showed their championship experience. Jamal Murray just shows me why I don't know why we don't call him playoff Murray like we call Jimmy playoff Jimmy, because when you look at it, in over 500 games, I saw he had 6 40-point games in the regular season, and then in the 70 playoff games, he got just as many. So it's just something about the playoffs. This unit has been together for some years now. They understand the moment, especially Jamal over the last few years. I know they've come up short, but it just seems like when there's a sense of urgency, he steps up, Joker steps up, and the Denver Nuggets role players just seem to somehow, most of the time, get it done.
How impressed were you, Rick?
Completely. I mean, they played like the Nuggets that we last saw chasing a title. And you had Russell Westbrook filling in for the Bruce Brown role, and you had Christian Brown filling in for the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, because those guys were instrumental in getting this done, too. Obviously, Jamal was great, but they knew that their season was on the line. I don't know that they lose that game and they go to L.A. and they come out alive. And they really put it on the Clippers and let them know that we can play. And I thought that what made it so effective was that they weren't expecting Jokic to do everything. Like, Jamal contributed. Russell gave them some big buckets off the bench, right? And so, yeah, I feel look, I picked the Nuggets at the beginning of the series to win this because of their end-of-game execution. And as the series went on, I was like, well, but do they just have enough? And they showed that execution, and if Westbrook is able to give them this, and Christian Brown can be steady, they have enough.
Yeah, it was impressive. I mean, but it was impressive to watch Murray do exactly what he was able to do, and Paul stole my note on postseason Jamal Murray, but that's okay. I mean, when you look at his career regular season versus the postseason, those numbers go up clearly, right? But I think for the Clippers, and although Joker had a triple-double, it wasn't his best triple-double.
Right.
I mean, he only had 13 points. He didn't shoot it particularly well.
He had 12 assists and 10 rebounds.
And Zub kind of gave him some problems at times. Now, what I need Zub to do, though, is crash the boards a little more for me. Okay, one rebound through 3 quarters is not acceptable for my high-paid center. I need him to do a little bit more on crashing the boards, get the second and third opportunities. But other than that, I mean, you know, I thought the Clippers they were right there in the mix despite the way that James Harden was playing, but then they just allowed Murray down the stretch to just take over the game, something that we've seen in the postseason from them. But I do believe coming back to L.A. tomorrow night, they'll get that one and have to go back to Denver to finish it up.
And then what?
Yeah, and then what?
Because Game 7 in Denver.
Yeah.
I'll worry about that when we get to Game 7.
Yeah. And this series has been the closest, most.
Because they're supposed to beat them at home the other night. And that shot by Joker.
I mean, they're not supposed to win because Denver was up 20.
Yeah, they came back and caught them, and at that point, you're not supposed to lose.
It's not like they weren't supposed to win.
Yeah, but when you 22 down, Paul, you know, and I come back and chase you down, and I got you, and this shot goes in, because if they'd win in the OT, I think the Clippers win. What, Rick?
What? The we.
I didn't say we.
You said we.
Oh, did I?
When we get back there, we'll
I was
worry
just
about
speaking.
that.
I just talking about
we.
I mean the Clippers. I'm not talking about we. I'm saying as if I'm on the Clippers team is what I'm saying.
No. I know that. I know that.
Clippers fan.
No, I'm not a damn Clippers fan. No, I'm not. I'm just saying we as if I'm on the team.
The Nuggets are very interesting, though.
Clipperdale? Yeah, what? Yeah, he's right here.
Hi, Clipperdale.
It's Clipperdale for you.
Y'all need
He
to
would
stop.
like to come to the other side.
Oh, God, no.
He's completely lost hope. If they come out of the series, we might have to, you know, look at how things ended during the regular season for the Nuggets a little bit differently. I don't want to get ahead of myself here because this has been an incredibly competitive series. But what we saw from them last night is championship-type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that is a scary team. Because if Jokic doesn't have the big scoring night that he is capable of having at 13 points, he still can contribute with 12 assists and 10 rebounds.
Yep.
And then you have a Jamal Murray who's capable of having games like that and who plays well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have role players that have experience, that have played together. The Nuggets are a very scary team, and this was their most impressive game, despite Jokic not having his biggest scoring game, the most impressive game that they've had this series.
And even Brody Westbrook went nuts. He went crazy.
Yeah, Russ had 25 minutes off the bench, 21 rebounds.
See,
21 points.
Yeah.
That's the swing for me because originally I picked the Clips at the beginning because I was like, I'm not sure if they can maintain that scoring off the bench, but Russ has been spectacular in this series. I mean, he's giving them leadership. He's giving them energy. Like, even if we're not scoring like this, just his energy. You know, and that could be the difference. They got leadership. Like, the Clippers are a curious case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I don't know who are they going to, which Clipper team is going to show up because they look like world beaters one day in game 2, and then they come back and stink it up, and then they come. Like, I don't know who the Clippers really are. And this has been the case, and it's a reflection of, like, James Harden, too. So
that's the one thing I think
know.
the Clippers are missing, though, is that jolt of energy that Westbrook has brought to the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers don't have that. I mean, outside of Kawhi,
like
when he's cooking, but they don't have that one person.
Norm Powell kind of gives that to them.
Yeah, he gives
As a
them the
scorer.
energy, but Westbrook
I think Dunn is that guy. I think there's no excuse.
Could be that guy.
I think there's no excuses. I think the Clippers are one of the most complete teams in the Western Conference.
No, they are.
Except they do not have that floor leader. James is a great distributor and a playmaker.
No,
but
James is a great floor leader. It's just the playoffs. It's just the playoffs.
Okay,
Rick.
but if you can't lead your team in the playoffs.
On the losing side, the Clippers clipped. James Harden had a vintage performance in a bad way. 11 points on 3 for 9 shooting before last night. LA was favored to win the game and the series, but the Clippers appear to have lost all momentum after leading the series 2-1 earlier this week. So as we were just discussing, James did not have a big night last night. 11 points, 4 turnovers.
Didn't play well.
He didn't play well, and this was a question going into the postseason. Is he going to be able to be consistent, particularly with the scoring? In Game 1, he had 32, 18, 20, 15, 11. Starting to kind of look like we're trending in that direction. So can you trust him in the playoffs? Can you win with James Harden?
I don't know. I don't know if I could. As the series has gone on, and history has shown us, as the series has gone on with James Harden, it's the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen. Because when he was with Philadelphia, when he went off on the Celtics, I remember he had like a couple 40-point games. And as the series went on, the further the series goes, 5, 6, 7, he regressed and regressed and regressed. So now we're looking at Game 6. I just don't know if I trust James Harden in these moments because he hasn't shown me that he can deliver. I mean, it just is what it is. The facts are the facts. And we've seen it multiple times, year in and year out, at the biggest moments when you really need your... And it's the most mind-boggling thing because James is one of the greatest players to ever play this game, and you see him play at this level, and it's no in-between, I feel like. You know, like yesterday, he could have had a bad game of like 20 points and like 8 assists, and that probably would have been enough.
But he only took 9 shots.
Yeah, but he does that a lot. I mean, they do it all. He does that a lot over the course of history since he's been in the league, especially in Houston. You go from 40 to like a 6-point game. You know, the in-between is just not there. He's the most mind-boggling superstar when it comes to the playoffs with these type of performances.
I think you can win in the playoffs with him. I mean, yes, things have kind of gone down over the last couple games for him, but if you go 1 through 4, he's averaging about 10 assists a game. I mean, a lot of that is the first couple games, no question about it, 21 points. But they're doing things to get the ball out of his hands immediately. So now he's got to get it to somebody else. So he's not getting his attempts up. He only had 9 shots. He took 9 shots. That for a guy who handles the ball as much as him and scores as much as him, 9 shots is not enough. It's just not enough for him to get into that type of rhythm that he's supposed to be in to help his team win. But I trust him enough. Now, tomorrow night, that'll be a different conversation. If in fact he does not do what I think he's going to do and he reverts back to what he did last night, now we can have a conversation the next day and say, well, here we go. this is the James Harden we get.
He's averaged 19.2 points per game, 8.6 assists per game, 5.4 rebounds per game in this series.
Those aren't bad numbers. They're not bad numbers.
No,
They're not.
it's solid. But,
But
it's
a
like,
lot of them is
But the problem
Front-loaded.
is
Yeah.
it goes up in
It's 32 in game one and then
front-loaded.
11 in game five.
yeah.
yeah,
No,
the
that's a
swing,
problem.
the swing is just so.
Technically, you can win with him in the playoffs. Technically, his personal record in the playoffs is 89 and 82. He's won more than he's lost. And I think that the image that he doesn't always show up when you need him most is not completely fair, because he's had big games in big moments. He 2019, he closed out Toronto. He had 22 points, 15 assists, only 3 turnovers. When they lost to the Warriors in 2019, he had 35 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. Like, he wasn't the reason that they lost that closing game. It's just, to Paul's point, you don't know when you're going to get it and when you're not. And this is where I push back on him being a floor leader, because if I can't count on you bringing it, whether you're going to be successful or not, whether you're going to knock down shots or not, like, I got to know that you're going to try to go get it. And there's just times where he looks passive, and other times where, like, you're thinking there's no stopping him. He's either getting to the cup, or he's knocking the 3 down, or he's finding somebody, but he's a handful. And then other times you're like, where is he? Like, why isn't he going to go get it? And I don't have the answer, other than there's always been sort of that question about his conditioning. And as the series goes on, to Paul's point, it's like the later you go, you get to 5, 6, and 7, the chances that he's either, even if he's shooting a lot, that he's not going to be shooting well, or that he's going to be looking for somebody else to carry the weight. That seems to happen more often than not in long series.
Paul, do y'all look at turnovers in basketball the same, or are they different? Depending on, like in football, you're going to look at the turnovers differently, depending on, the receivers drop the ball, the quarterback threw it
Well,
deep.
I'm not mad at James's 4 turnovers. He handles the ball every time down.
That's what I'm saying.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal. Like, when you start getting around to 6, 7, for the amount of times he handles every time down, making plays for everybody, that's 4 is not a lot.
But you are mad at the overall performance.
Yeah, because I expect them, like, this is a pivotal game. You just lost a heartbreaker. Like, you actually, like, even if they lose, I wouldn't have been mad if I seen James with, like, a 25-point game, like, in that type of, but, like, when it's constant, when you see it over the years in a big, big game, like, this is a swing game right here. Now you 1 game away from going home. And it'll be interesting to see, like, this next game, like, I need him to deliver. I mean, this is a Hall of Fame player. This is a guy who's going to most likely be named one of the top 5 2 guards or point guards, whatever position you want to put him at all time. And he's been an MVP in this league. You have to believe he can turn back the clock, because I know I've seen it in game 1. I've seen it when he was in Philly. I've seen it in every stop he's been in, that one game. But it's that game later in the playoffs I got to see it from, for them to advance. That's when they needed James Harden the most.
And just the lack of predictability with it, the lack of consistency. It's
part.
such a dramatic swing.
That part.
And what, they needed it last night. I feel like because this series has been so close and so competitive, it also feels a bit jarring to have a game like this, especially, to your point, coming off of a heartbreaker. Like, you really want to come out with some energy and answer that.
Like Kawhi, what was Kawhi numbers in the last game?
I don't.
In game 5?
Yeah.
20 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a bad game. I can live with.
Yeah, but that's a solid game.
That's a solid
an acceptable
game.
Yeah.
Even though they lost, Kawhi,
a great game.
I can live with that. Like, he put it out there. Like, shots is going to come and go, but he gave me the 10 rebounds, the 9 assists, and all of that. I can live with that. 2 blocks. I can live with that.
So have you either played with someone that was that up and down? And what is that like when you have a guy that can be great, but at times, like, is simply not?
Well,
what does that do to you as a team?
Not at that level, because I look at James Harden, like, I mean, think about it. James Harden is going to be All-NBA this year. He made the All-Star team. He's going to probably be second-team All-NBA. He's going to be All-NBA. He held what he did for the Clippers this year, holding them until Kawhi didn't come back until game 50-something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He held this. I had the Clippers not even making the playoffs because Kawhi was going to be out.
He didn't vote for him.
I have to go check. I'm not sure he made my ballot.
He voted for Pritchard.
Oh,
But I'm just saying, Kawhi, he did a great carrying job for the Clippers this year. That's why I expect more from him.
Yeah.
Like in these situations.
Yeah.
Kawhi didn't play 50 games. Think about that.
Yeah.
He didn't play 50-plus games. Before the season, I said Clippers not making the
But
playoffs.
regular season is not the question with James Harden.
Yeah, you're right. It's never been the question.
Like,
but I didn't think.
That's why we hold him in that regard. It really is the regular season.
But I didn't think James at
He's
this
MVP.
age, at this time, being that he's not the James from Houston, can help the Clippers to the playoffs by himself. And he did.
Well, we'll see if
because
they
that shows
bounce
how
back
deep they are.
at home. Over to the Eastern Conference, the Bucks had a historic collapse last night. Milwaukee led by 7 points with 40 seconds left in overtime.
Wow.
But after a Pacers 3, 2 Gary Trent turnovers lead to 2 more buckets by the Pacers, giving them a 1-point lead and the win going back to 1997. Over 1,000 playoff teams have had a 7-point lead with 40 seconds remaining in the game and held on to win until the Bucks failed to do so last night.
Man.
History is chasing and always seems to catch a Doc Rivers team. But who is at fault for the Bucks' collapse?
I'll be the first to say it. Like, listen, you got to put it. Doc Rivers, he's the common denominator in all these epic collapses. You know what I'm saying? When you look at 13 teams with a 4% chance to win a playoff series down 3-1, he's been part of 3 of those. And it's only happened 13 times. And then you look at this record, I didn't even know. Teams were 1,500, 315,375 and 0. No, that's not actually the number in this circumstance. No, but it's over 1,000 games.
That's
and no
1,000 playoff teams have had a 7-point lead with 40 seconds remaining in the game and held on to win.
And none of them lost.
1,000 to 1.
Yeah.
And Doc puts his name, the first one that puts his name. He's had the worst luck. So it has to go on Doc Rivers. And I know you can look at Gary Trent Jr. and say the 2 turnovers were critical. But he was a big piece in helping them get the lead and having an opportunity.
He had a game-high 33 points.
I just don't know. Doc has just been so unlucky since Paul Pierce has been gone away from him. I don't know how. I'm sorry, Doc. Since Paul Pierce has left Doc, it just hasn't been the same. I don't know.
Yeah, you hate to pile on, but if you're looking at the game yesterday, it feels like Doc had his hands in it. I can't look at the overall series with Doc because there was injuries involved.
Yeah.
Lillard, things of that nature. It was Giannis was trying to will them to victories as much as he could, but then for whatever reason, like you said, 7 points, 40 seconds. Let's come on now. Something, timeout, talk to him, something to get them to respond a different way, and it didn't happen like that. Yeah, the 2 costly turnovers was a key there, but a conversation that you could have with your players and reach them a certain way, these sort of things you can put a stop to. But like Paul said, for some reason, his name, Rick, is just always attached to not so good things at the end of games with teams that he's taken over. If you just think the Clippers, Philadelphia, and now Milwaukee, Orlando. Nothing seems good.
And he's had talent. You can't say that he hasn't had talent. That's the troubling part. And, my list starts with Doc. And they could have won it in regulation. And my big issue is that there was just so many things that they didn't execute, so many fundamental mistakes that they made. They're up by 4 with 50 seconds left in regulation. And then they let Indiana score quick. And then Kevin Porter Jr., who does not have a mid-range game, pulls up and takes a mid-range jumper with 10 seconds still left on the shot clock and misses, right? And then Giannis has an opportunity to win in regulation. You have a timeout. You come out of the timeout. You have 10 seconds left. He has an opportunity to win the game. You come out of a timeout. He takes a mid-range jumper, turnaround mid-range jumper, again, not his shot, and doesn't shoot it early enough so that you have an opportunity and an offensive rebound. Then you go to overtime. You have Gary Trent, timeout. Gary Trent catches the ball pinned against the sideline, and it ends up being a turnover. Like, And then Giannis makes the #1 fundamental mistake when it comes to playing defense, which is you don't let them drive middle. Don't let them drive middle. And there's absolutely no help there. So there's like 4 critical mistakes made in crunch time, in regulation, and overtime. And I can't help but feel like, look, when Doc came in midway through the season, you gave him a grace period because you're trying to fix things on the fly. But you had an off season, you had training camp, and this team still felt like it was fundamentally unsound. And understanding that, like, if they had even a backup point guard on the roster, I was crazy. I looked at the roster. Like, it's Damian Lillard and Ryan Rollins. You don't have any. Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr. were bringing the ball up and getting them into their sets.
Kevin Porter Jr. is a point guard. He's a point guard.
I don't trust him with.
Well,
are we talking about floor leaders and all that? I mean, that's tough.
Who was their backup last year? Was it Pat Bev? Was that they?
Have to go back and I think so.
Pat Bev was there.
I know he was there at one point. Yeah, but the bottom line is, like, you build your habits and your ability to execute at crunch time over the course of the season. And when you haven't built those habits, you get exposed in the postseason.
Okay, well, I'll be nice today. What if the Pacers just played really good defense?
Oh, we're going to the other side?
And, yeah, I'll give Doc a break. Pacers played really well down the stretch. There's some good defensive plays. They were very aggressive. They were down by 7. They could have said, okay, we're going to take our foot off the gas. We're losing this, right? Since 1,000 other teams have lost it. And they didn't. The Pacers are a good team, and we underestimated them. We haven't been giving them a lot of love. This was a very convincing series.
This is a very generous Joy Taylor.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Paul said your take is terrible.
No. My straw. That was my straw.
And not only.
All right, my bad.
In my ear.
It's Doc's fault.
I couldn't believe it.
No, it was the straw. It was the straw went down.
Went down.
Yeah.
Wait, though, Joy. Not only that.
It was.
Look what's at the front of his desk.
It's a little Jesus.
I need a little Jesus.
He need a little Jesus in his life.
I need a little Jesus in my life. I got a little Jesus.
What the hell is wrong with that?
I need a little Jesus.
No, we need a little. We need Jesus to take the wheel of this segment. Just trying to get the Pacers a little flow. After the game, it got pretty heated when Giannis and Haliburton's dad had to be separated. Giannis is a good person.
Yeah, he really is.
He's a good person. Better than me.
Above the cut.
Yeah.
Do you, Key, you like how he handled everything?
Yeah, I do. I mean, especially once he realized that was his father. You know what I'm saying? And he just handled it with class as far as I was concerned. Because he could have, at the end of the game like that, with those emotions flying high.
What?
He really could have just shoved him and we would be having a different conversation right now about the whole situation. But I'm glad that he kind of just handled it the way he did. And he looks like he's having a nice conversation with him, just letting him know you need to chill, stop tripping. Then he gives him a thumbs up and, hey, man, everything's good, and kind of walked away. I mean, I know, Paul, but
it looked like it took him a lot to hold it.
No, it did, but that's
cool. You know how you look over a little dude and when you lean over him, you want to grab his neck.
Over a lot of little dudes your whole life.
But you can look over, but he leaned over and put his head right. Like, man, that took a lot, especially because of the emotions. Like,
Pops probably had. I wanted to see if Pops had a cup or something, because I'm sure he probably had something in one of them cups. You know what I'm saying? Because he was feeling himself. His son had just
stand up to a 7-footer like that.
Yeah, his son just finished it off. He's excited.
And we're not even talking about the fact that the spectacular performance that Haliburton had, particularly down the stretch to win the game. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you having your life spared by Giannis.
And you know this, know this, Rick and Paul, and you to a degree, Joy, about this AAU mentality of parents, though. They live vicariously through their kids.
I don't know why that's Giannis's problem.
No,
it's not, but it's a reality.
That's the reality. It's not. We're seeing it, but that's the reality of it. You see it all the time. They live vicariously through their kids, and they get so wrapped up and emotional in it that this is what happens.
This man is 68 years old.
Yeah, but when he was waving that towel, he was went, "We do this."
Yeah, he's
and I'm like,
dad, though.
You got the wrong pronoun. No. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. thing.
No, I get it.
That's not you.
No, I get it, Rick. I get it.
No,
I'm just glad Giannis handled it the way he did.
Giannis could not have handled it better. Not only did he restrain himself there, but he let him know where things were and had the conversation with him. And then afterward, he explained his philosophy in these things. I also thought Tyrese Haliburton handled it well in terms of afterward calling his dad out and saying, my dad was wrong.
I think his dad is a ref, too, right? Or was a referee?
You know what? He's a fan in this instance.
No, but I'm just saying, you a ref, you should, and not only being a 68-year-old adult, you should know better. No, don't bat your eye.
You know who didn't handle it well was Pacers security. Like, how long were they there? I mean, something could have gone off. Nobody stepped out. Nobody, like...
But I wonder if they thought, like I thought initially, that he knew him, and so he was going over there to talk to him. I didn't, until they started bumping heads, that's when I was like,
That's a fan that's on the court that shouldn't be on the court.
I feel...
Hakeem Olajuwon wasn't allowed on the court when the University of Houston, right. Won. He's a legend with the University of Houston, in Houston, with the Rockets, all of that. He wasn't allowed on the court. So how, in an NBA playoff game, are we allowing that to happen?
I just feel very strongly these types of interactions are completely unacceptable. It's so dangerous. People are absolutely insane. You remember this was happening with Westbrook for a while, right? You remember when that fan walked on?
Westbrook always got it too.
Yeah, but there was a fan that walked onto the court.
Family members, the whole deal.
And my thing is this. This is that fake tough guy stuff. Because Giannis could literally kill him. And I'm not exaggerating.
He could have hurt him bad.
He could
have hurt him bad. No, I'm saying he could have hurt him bad.
Yeah, by bad, like he's no longer with us.
Yeah, I don't want that, but yeah.
But let's be honest about this.
That's what I'm saying.
And Giannis is the one who would be held responsible. Giannis would be the one who's getting sued. Giannis would be the one who's getting a call from the commissioner. Giannis is the one who's going to be suspended next year. Giannis is the one who's going to have to deal with all the repercussions legally, criminally, for hurting this person who's running up on him. He don't know who this man is. And even if he does, he doesn't know what he's capable of in this moment. I can't stand this. This is his job. Where do you just get to run up on somebody and get in someone's face at their work? This is what Giannis does for a living.
And look, I'm not excusing anything, but I also have to look at the other side. They probably knew that was Haliburton's dad, so they allowed him to go on the court.
That's not right, though.
No, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying when you... If you
use your access to get into a player's face, you should never have access again.
That's a different conversation, though,
because you've abused the trust of the security.
But that's a different conversation.
You've abused your access to the building, and you've abused the respect that you're supposed to have for someone who is there doing their job. No. People do crazy stuff to other people all the time. You're running up and getting in this man's face. This man could end your life with very little effort.
Yes, if it wasn't Haliburton's dad, I agree with you 1,000%.
It's inexcusable.
But it's his father. They don't allow him to get on that court,
His father is using the fact that he is his father as an excuse to get in Giannis' face, and Giannis can't do anything about it, and that's why he's in his face in the first place.
I remember we lost to the Lakers in 2010.
Yeah, y'all did.
And I'm living in Calabasas. So I go to Johnny Rockets. Remember, Key, the Johnny Rockets right there in the comments, right? So I'm at Johnny Rockets with my boy, and this kid comes in there. We just lost the Lakers like a week ago or so. Yeah. This kid comes in there with the biggest Laker flag I ever seen.
I love it.
And he walks up to me and said, hey, Mr. Pierce, can you sign this? I snatched the flag and threw it in the parking lot.
I wish I'd have saw that.
I would have, if that was Giannis, I would have just snatched the towel and threw it.
Yeah, snatch the towel.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And just throw it. Get it out my face.
If I would have been there and I saw it, I'd have called the popo on you.
No, I snatched it. It was a flag. No, he had a whole pole. I'm telling you, Keith.
Hello,
the pole, it was like this big.
Big tall man over here causing a ruckus.
Yes, absolutely. That's for sure.
I grabbed that Laker flag, and it was a big... He had a pole. He had a pole.
Look, fans...
I'm saying it was sick. The flag was like this. It was the biggest flag I ever seen.
Fans do some wild stuff, man.
I was like,
it's not acceptable. It is so unacceptable.
I'm not making excuses.
The players are the ones that have the liability.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is at 68 years old, that's his son. He's in a proud moment at that point in time.
Well,
the proud moment at that point
was to go grab my son and hug. That's the proud moment.
No, that too. I'm just saying, they gonna allow him on. He gonna get that access.
Okay, but
He's gonna get that access.
And,
Yeah, for
and if
sure.
we want to make excuses,
sure
if
he
we
get
want to
that
make excuses
access.
for the security, cool. Because maybe they do know it's his dad, and they're letting him do that.
And at
At home.
He abused that access.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Joy, as far as that goes. So here's what you do. Rest of the playoffs, you make his ass go sit in a box or not come to the arena.
Right.
That's what you do.
If he was not Haliburton's dad, he would never be allowed in an arena again.
So now you move him upstairs or not in the arena doing the playoffs.
Key.
It's simple.
How old is Halliburton's dad?
68 years
68.
old.
How old is
Haliburton?
Giannis?
Oh, Giannis is 30.
He's 30.
Yeah.
He's 30. Who is the more mature person in the situation?
Giannis, no question.
Don't give me father. Don't give me father. Give me who, based on age, should have known better.
The reason I don't like it is because if Giannis you are antagonizing him. And if Giannis reacts negatively, which would be his right because you are in his face and you are a fan, now Giannis is the one who's being held responsible and not you. Like, what are you doing? You know Giannis cannot retaliate.
You would never do what Ty's father did.
Please don't come get in my face. I'm not.
No, I wouldn't have did what Ty Father did, nor would I've done what Giannis did. Because if you get in my damn face, I'm probably going to push you to the ground.
Right?
I will not act like Giannis.
You know, I wouldn't act like Giannis either. I probably would have pushed him down.
Now, see, when I step, now it's my fault.
Jeez. Oh, my goodness.
Now what? Now we got
aggressive.
Coming up.
Now it's my fault.
Jeez.
I like violent joy.
Yeah, Joy, man.
Woo. Fiery. Hey.
You're in my face.
you're
I don't know what you're about to do. It's going to be me or you. You put me in a position where it's me and you. I like me more.
You're correct. No one is saying you're not correct. No one's saying you're not correct. I'm just saying the access is going to be granted to him. Take that access away. So, the league should tell the Indiana Pacers, your dad either got to sit in the box or not come to the arena.
No, that's got to be a fine. It's got to be a fine.
You can dock him to it.
Yeah, you can fine. You got to fine. You got to fine the Pacers.
Yeah, but there has to be some rule set in place that's going to disbar him, to take him.
But you know,
he's lost privilege.
This ain't the first dad.
That's because he acts like this at games. That's why.
What you mean?
You get in people's faces.
No.
You get in other parents' faces at the games.
My kids' game?
Yeah.
And I don't even talk to them.
Oh, there we go.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.